Yo, yo, yo. What up, baby
Hey,
mama?
what's up? What's up, daddy? How
You
we
know,
doing?
I'm out here vibing. It's a beautiful Monday afternoon slash
Mm-hmm.
evening.
Yeah,
You
yeah, it
know.
feels good. The weather is real good where you're at right now. I can feel it.
Yeah. I'm glad you're keeping abreast.
Oh, I keep abreast.
Oh, I
I
keep
keep two of
abreast.
them. Know what I'm talking about?
Hey,
Hey, hey,
yo.
hey, up top.
Here you go, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. I was really, really worried you weren't gonna.
Let's talk about some crazy shit, man. Hit me with it.
Anything? Anything
Just hit me
crazy?
with it.
All right, listen. I'll talk about that crazy shit. I learned that Magoo died. The rapper Magoo. I learned that he passed away.
Rest in peace.
I was watching the Grammys, and I was actually super duper taken aback because they did like a thing of like all the people we lost over the past like year or two, something like that. And I saw Magoo on there, and I was like, "Holy shit, Magoo died!" So, I'm still recovering. R.I.P. What about you? What's going on with you?
Oh, shit. Not much. Gotta hit you with the Kill Bill. Not much, man.
Shit.
You uh,
Yeah. No, but seriously, what's going on? Tell me in 3 words or less.
been working on this album, man. Every day it gets more and more exciting for me. It feels like it's really starting to crystallize.
Yeah. Especially after our little talk today, I've been
Yeah,
really, I've been really amped up
yeah,
with
same
the
here.
conceptual aspects of it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it a little bit. I don't want to like give away too much. What do you feel comfortable talking about with this album? Like going into it. Like I don't want to like bring too much, or put too many expectations. But like, how are you feeling about it?
It feels like a very freeing experience. It feels like with every project I learn something new about myself. And most of the stuff that you and I had worked on together, because it was so scattered throughout different times or was done super quickly sometimes, it didn't feel like I had as much time to reflect. This
Yeah.
project feels almost like my own project in the sense that like how much thinking I'm doing in my personal life and reflecting back onto the album and just kind of putting together certain pieces in my personal life. So in that regard, it feels cathartic.
Yeah, for sure. No, I feel the exact same way about it. Especially, I think that we're on a very similar wavelength.
Yeah,
Especially with
agreed.
the stuff that we've been talking about, like as of like very lately, like the whole overall like idea behind the album. I don't want to say it's like a concept, but like the whole like thematic overtone of it
Right.
is something that like I've
The
been kind of
ethos.
thinking about. Yeah, the ethos. That's a good way to put it. I feel like it's a thing that I've been thinking about quite a lot. I don't know. As you get older, I keep saying that like I'm like an old man or something, but like as we've been doing this for a minute now, like
Yeah.
full time for like 5 years, but like
Yeah.
over half my life I've been rapping, and like as I've gotten older, the more like not like my give a fuck is going away. That's not it at all. I think that it's very much there, and that I have bad anxiety, but like I'm starting to kind of get to a point where I'm like accepting myself for who I am. And I'm glad that it seems like that's kind of like where your head is at too, because that's an important, I don't know, an important part of finding yourself, I think.
Yeah.
And I, uh, I appreciate that you're on the same shit that I'm on right now.
Likewise. Yeah. I feel like this is us not losing ourselves moment.
In
You
the
know?
moment, you gotta lose yourself in the moment. You know what I mean?
You better never let it go.
Oh, that's my favorite part of that hook, by the way, is where he goes like, "Better never let it go," and he goes, "Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
really
yeah.
good."
Oh, by the way, for the intros, I'm thinking going forward, we should always just aim to surprise the other
Okay.
with introduction to intro. I feel like that way, if we gamify it a little bit,
I like that.
it's a
I
little
like
more
that.
fun than just a ritual,
But
just
my thing is
routine.
this is I mean, for the most part, you've done most of the intros, right? You've said like, you're now tuning into to Void FM, and it's kind of been like your thing, if that makes any sense. It almost feels like I'm robbing you of a moment if I do it, which is insane because you're now tuning in to Void FM.
4050 deep, why don't you turn around and let's get back into the table. Okay. Let this turn around to your right. Set up. Forward. Let's just lead him. I just denied that field of view, pick up the main I don't want to go into the side of waiting for you. That's right now. Let them get a view from there and I'll see what the field of view looks like.
I thought you were gonna, when you said it's so funny because you usually say you are now tuning in.
Yeah, no. I realized I missed the opportunity like as it was coming out of my mouth. I was like, oh man, you know.
That was great. No, that was good.
So what are we talking about today, Brain?
Well, Pinky, same thing we always talk about, nothing. But I do feel like there could be a through line today that's gonna reveal itself at some point. Why don't we flip things around? Why don't we flip this whole thing on its head and start with the obscure hip hop facts of the week?
Hell yeah.
Right.
You are on some wacky shit today, bro. Like you're like, we're gonna do the intro wacky, we're gonna do it in the different episode order.
Silly.
Like, I can't say that I like it.
It's okay. You don't have to. Obscure hip hop facts with Rav and Kill Bill the Rapper. So let's hit him with it, Bill. Why don't we hit him with it? Since we're doing it wacky style, why don't you start first?
Sure, I love doing it wacky style.
Shorty loves it when I do it wacky style.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's canonical. Okay, here's one for you. Did you know that Nas nearly suffocated during the I Am album cover shoot?
I fucking hate you, man. That was gonna be one of mine today.
Was it really? It's such a funny fact.
Right now.
It's such a funny thing that I mean, it was bad, but it was kind of funny.
No, it's cool. It's such a keep going. Yeah, I agree. It's such an interesting fact.
Okay, so for people who don't know, the album cover has Nas's face inside of a sarcophagus or like made into a sarcophagus. I actually thought that it was like CGI or something, some kind of editing. So the thematic thing was in the beginning, it shows him as a child on the front of Illmatic. And then what was the album in between? Was it Was Written? Am I tripping? Which one was it?
It Was Written, was in between, yeah.
Okay, and it shows him as like an adult on there, or as like
he's exactly.
Yeah, he's older. He's older. He's not a child anymore.
And then the album you're referring to, he's kind of like transcended all of that. He's kind of like a god figure.
He's supposed to be a king. They said it was supposed to be a king, and so he is in a sarcophagus. And I didn't know that it wasn't CGI. Basically, they put clay on Nas's face for the photo shoot, and it went up his nose and it almost suffocated him and killed him, which is crazy.
And apparently he went like, and they needed to do another take, and he's like, all right, let's go. Apparently he was like a real champ about it.
Dude, he's always been a real champ, that Nas. I think shout out to Nas. He's risking his life to look like a pharaoh in a sarcophagus, and more power to him.
Shouts out to the GOAT.
Yeah, shouts out to the GOAT. The boat. It's the best of all time. Sorry, I threw off your mojo by stealing your facts.
No, it's fine. I'll just go with a different one. I have facts on facts,
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that Macho Man Randy Savage, R.I.P., released a hip-hop album back in the early 2000s, and in his promo video, you can see 50 Cent hanging out with him.
That's crazy. I knew that he put out an album. I'm very aware of the album. However, I did not know that 50 Cent was canonically involved in anything to do with Macho Man Randy Savage at all.
That's right. That's the part that I thought would take you by surprise. Mitch, why don't you play the video I linked you for the one time?
Cause you're a real big punk. You call my head up on the phone, man. Use a truck. Cause if you really got static, take it up with me. And don't punk your butt out for the world to see. Be a man.
Come on, don't be scared. You're running from Macho, that's what I heard.
Be a man, Hogan.
Come on, don't be a punk. I never thought help would go out like a punk.
Be a man, Hulk.
Come on, don't be scared. You're running from Macho, that's what I heard.
Be a man, Hogan.
Boy, don't be scared. You're running from Macho, that's what I heard.
Be a man, Hogan.
Come on, don't be a chump. I never thought help would go out like a punk.
Be a man, Hulk.
Come on, don't be scared. You're running from Macho, that's what I heard.
Be a man, Hogan.
Boy, you's a chump.
Man.
What you think? What you think?
Well, first
That looks
of all,
like Mitch up top, second till up top
is.
right, next
It
to the
is.
bald man.
That's him right there. That's Macho Man on the right. That's the bald man. That's just Macho Man in his final form.
Ew, that
No,
does look like me. What the heck?
Yeah, it's Brian Zane, aka Mitch's alter ego.
All right, so let's briefly just talk about
Breakdown.
that, right?
Little
Like,
breakdown.
A little
Well, he-
breakdown.
He dissed Hulk Hogan, so automatically kind of a dub.
He was obviously ahead of the curve there. But also, correct me if I'm wrong, but this might have been the first full like wrestler album, and I don't mean like one of those wrestling albums. There's a compilation or like multiple different artists, specifically one wrestler putting out an album during their time as being a popular wrestler, right?
Oh, well, he definitely, if he wasn't the first, he was one of the first. I mean, there was a lot of wrestlers who rapped at the time, because like Conan rapped, who he was like fucking with Macho Man because they were in NWO Red and Black together. I think Rey Mysterio even rapped at one point. Yeah, no, but I don't think that either of them put out any albums at all. John Cena did later, which of course, like,
That's what people
was-
know about. That,
Yeah, for
because
sure.
It's more recent comparatively.
Yeah,
right?
no,
But
I think that he was okay, here's a question for you, and I don't want to derail this at all, but like, it seems like 50 Cent was involved with a lot of non-rappers who rapped. Like celebrity,
Steve-O.
because same thing with Steve-O, right? I would
right.
arguably almost the same subgenre of like person who risked their life for other people's entertainment. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I
So,
think I
interesting.
wonder. I mean, I haven't looked into this. I suspect 50 Cent at the time had his finger on the pulse of culture, or just pop culture, and kind of understood the value of bringing people outside of the sphere of hip hop into hip hop to. Oh, this is gonna sound awful, but to commodify hip hop further, right? And I think it was for his own benefit, which I think is like, fair given how like most people within this sphere operate. But nowadays it's crazy to think now hip hop is pop music. It is the dominant force in culture, and from a musical standpoint. So now it's not unusual to hear hip hop songs in cartoons, advertisements, TV shows made for older people, etc. Like hip hop is everywhere.
Yeah, no, I mean, at the time, I mean, I think there was a certain aspect, especially in wrestling, where like WCW really had their finger on the pulse, because a lot of those dudes were rap fans. Like Kevin Nash and Scott Hall were like really big rap fans, and so they used like hip hop stuff, and they would try to bring in hip hop stuff, I feel. But like, I think 50 Cent was like definitely, he had his finger on the pulse of like where he would be. Not respected. What's the word? Like just people would see him in a wider space than beyond just like the places that you would normally hear and see rap music, and kind of
50
associate
Cent
him with
cosign
that.
was big, right?
It
'Cause
was.
he
It was
sold
huge. Yeah.
Get Rich or Die Trying, one of the best selling albums of all time, especially like initial like major label releases. It did so well. He was a major fucking success. So
For sure.
no matter who you were, if you were associating yourself with 50 Cent, it was a good look. And maybe in his mind, and again, this is just me guessing here, in his mind, he thought the more he fucked with people outside of hip hop, the more ingrained he was in pop culture, period.
For
That
sure.
it would facilitate his staying power.
Yeah.
And I think maybe there's some truth to that, to what happened. Although you could argue some of it has actually, you can look back at and view as like stains in his career, but he's the kind of person who has done so much. I don't think it's like a bad look on him. But think about, even from a video game standpoint, he had 2 video games,
True.
one of which did pretty well in terms of like critical response even.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was really tapping into everything.
For
at the
sure. He
time.
was just trying, I think he was really smart in terms of branding himself and just being everywhere. And I think that although you're right
Vitamin
about
water?
the idea, the vitamin water shit, yeah, for sure. But I think
Sold it to Coca-Cola.
I think you're right about the idea of like some people looking at it as like stains on his career, but he had so many, his net was so wide that it's like obviously the peaks definitely outweigh the valleys
For sure.
And I think that obviously it worked out pretty good for him, so.
Yeah, but like video games, G Unit clothing line, the vitamin water shit, the various collaborations with various pop artists, etc. His Donald Trump Apprentice style TV show that he had. There's so much stuff he's done, and now he's very culturally significant for a lot of people because of Power and all the spin-off series.
Yeah.
So, and he used to have, I think, he used to own a couple clubs or restaurants potentially,
Yeah. He did a lot. He even had
did a
like
lot.
I even to go a little deeper into this, like seeing like This Is 50, like the website back in the day.
Oh my God, yes, This Is 50 was so huge.
Yeah, it was like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, This Is 50 was just going to be like a fan site or something, or like a normal website. I didn't know that it was going to be like a forum, a place where people could download music, where people would talk about music and other things like fashion and fucking everything. It just became like I remember it almost kind of like not like rivaling Dat Piff, but that moment of like people started downloading music from This Is 50 sometimes, you know what I mean? Like,
and there would be, he'd have his own journalists and shit like that.
Yeah.
And shit.
It was cool. It was a cool idea.
It was cool. I remember it overtaking Rap Basement. It was like a kind of a competitor to like Hip Hop DX that was a little bit more, I don't know, accessible to certain types of audiences that maybe wouldn't be tapping into Hip Hop DX. There was also like overlap with the World Star audience as well, a little bit,
For sure.
So thisis50.com was huge at the time. That's crazy to think about.
I don't want to shift gears too quick, but I don't want to forget this next one.
Hit me with it.
Okay, so I feel like you already know this, but I learned some stuff about this that I didn't know before. Did you know that Future was originally and still technically is a member of Dungeon Family? You knew that, right? Am I right?
Yes, of course I knew that.
Okay. So I learned some stuff about this. So for people who don't know, Dungeon Family was a collective based out of Atlanta that had Goody Mob, Outkast, I think it was like Ali and Gip were in it, a bunch of other people. It was like a really Organized Noise was, super instrumental in it. However, I didn't know.
Killer Mike was an affiliate, right?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he straight up was Dungeon Family.
Or he was in Dungeon Family.
Yeah, no, he was. A lot of the Purple Ribbon All-Star guys were also at least affiliated with Dungeon Family. I didn't know this, but let me get the name right really quick. Okay, so I did not know that Rico Wade of Organized Noise was actually Future's cousin, and he was the one that introduced Future to Dungeon Family and was trying to get him off that street shit. He was trying to get him away from, fast living, drugs, just out of the hood, basically. And so he got him to join, and reportedly he actually gave Future the name Future, but not by saying, hey, his name is Future. He just kept calling him the Future to people. And so the name just kind of stuck. And so
that's
Future,
tight.
Yeah, that's super sick, right? It's like he didn't actually name it. It was just like, yeah, it was cool. It was cool. So I always think about the timeline where like Future never went on to do the music that he did, you know, like the kind of like the heavy auto-tune stuff, which I love. Like Future's one of my favorite rappers ever. But just the timeline where he just was like super duper lyrical and rapped over organized noise beats would be like insane and crazy. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, he's still is technically, if you look at it on Wikipedia right now, he's still a member of Dungeon Family. So shout out Future, shout out Dungeon Family, legendary crossover moment, you know? So I thought it was pretty cool.
That's an amazing one. That's a classic. Okay. Do you want to, before we move on, do you want to mention anything about Dungeon Family?
Yeah, sure. I love Dungeon Family. Goody
Same.
Mob. Goody Mob is like one of my earlier like biggest influences, and same thing with Outkast. Like everybody who was involved for the most part, like I'm a pretty big fan of, and went on to do some really cool shit.
Yeah.
You know, to think that I mean, that's how, I mean, I got into like Ali and Gip through like Nelly from the Grills song. You know what I'm talking
word.
about?
Yeah.
But I went back and listened to some of their stuff, and like it was all like super duper. Like they put like fucking organs over everything, like real Southern shit. You know what I mean? It was like such a cool vibe. And instrumentally, I feel like Organized Noise was doing shit that nobody was doing at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's really cool to see that Future has like an overlap with that. I mean, it makes sense to me as just a fan of like hip hop music and stuff, but I think a lot of people just wouldn't think about that.
Yeah. Shout out Dungeon Family. It's crazy to think they came from like that dark, damp, dank ass basement, you know, where they would gather to make music, and so much creativity gathered in one place, and so many journeys got launched from that point onwards, you know?
For sure, for sure. I think one of the things that was really cool about all of Dungeon Family is like they were all so larger than life. Like every rapper on there has like a crazy like personality about them.
Yeah.
And you can kind of tell, I think that there was like, with a lot of the Purple Ribbon All-Star stuff, which for people who don't know, that was like Big Boy's label that he did. He did like Kryptonite and all that other stuff, kind of post Dungeon Family, or working with them as much. And you can tell a lot of those dudes were really inspired by Dungeon Family from working with them and stuff. And it's cool to see that like big personality in every verse, you know.
Also, you know, a lot of people forget about this, but the saying, "The South has something to say," came from Andre at was it the BET Awards? What award show was? No, Source Awards?
I think it was Source, but I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure it's
wrong,
Source,
but it was
though.
a Source Awards where they won an award that during a time where the West Coast versus East Coast tensions were at an all-time high, with Bad Boy on one side, Death Row on the other. And when Andre and Big Boy went to pick up their award, they got booed, and Andre famously said, like, he said a whole thing, but it ended with a poignant, "The South got something to say," and he walked off. And that shit, to this day, now when people write dissertations about Southern hip hop, like it's enshrined as like one of the main slogans of Southern hip hop history. Because for a while, people forget, but for a while, people used to condescend, look down on Southern hip hop. The conversation felt for the longest time like it was between the East Coast and the West Coast. East Coast, you got New York. It's the Mecca. It's where hip hop comes from. The West Coast is where you had the Chronic come out of, right? The first time a hip hop album went popular, that sold so many records, you know, that transcended American audience and went beyond. The South, there were still many stereotypes back then that, the South, they're stupid. It's funny to think about it now because the heart of hip hop had been relocated to Atlanta for a long time now. But at the time, for a while, it really felt like you had to be like, oh no, not all Southern hip hop is this or that. Like, well, you got Andre, well, you got Scarface. Did you know Little Brother is from the South? Did you know that DJ Premier was born in Texas, actually? I remember having these conversations because it felt like when I was a kid. Because I remember there was definitely people laughed at the idea of the South being a part of the conversation. And now you can't have a hip hop conversation without the South being at the center of it.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's interesting too, because I think that there's like one of the saving graces of that being the way that it was that I think like okay, so like it felt like major labels were not signing Southern rappers at that time, or at least to the extent they were with, it wasn't like they were a part of the conversation in the same way. And so I feel like because of that, it became very insular. And so like you had, you know, like Houston had a sound, and, you know, they were doing the screwed and chop stuff and the certain type of flows that were based off of freestyling in your car and shit. And like they would rap about cars a lot. Then you had like Memphis, which was like more on this like very like they would rap about death a lot. And it was everything was like not like just gangster rap. Everything had this like mortality to it. And it was like very like drugged out sounding, and it sounded like otherworldly, and they would use a lot of repetitive samples to try to like hypnotize people, and a lot of people said it was like Satanism and like all this other shit.
I remember that.
Then like Miami was like, so Miami and Atlanta, but Miami first was so influenced
Sex
by
forward.
bass. Yeah. They were doing like Miami bass music and slowing it down and basically making crunk, which then would become trap like later in, you know, in Atlanta. And like it's just interesting to see. It sucks that like they didn't get their shine in the beginning, you know, the South didn't, but I feel like that's what made so many things pop up that didn't become homogenized until like much later in life. You know, like everybody for the past 10 years has been biting Memphis flows, and I think like that is the way that
Houston,
it is, you know, and Houston too,
like,
for sure.
If you take ASAP Mob, and I wouldn't say they're biting so much as paying homage.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't mean it like that.
ASAP Rocky came up paying a lot of homage to Memphis and Houston, I would say. Yeah.
I think a lot of that was Yams, like Yams having the foresight of like, hey, like let's ride this. This is really cool. And I think that's an interesting thing, because like until, to me, it didn't feel like until ASAP Mob came out, it's like people were like, okay, cool. Like if you're from New York, you rap like you're from New York. And if you're from LA, you rap like you're from LA. And it was like this very like, people looked at ASAP Rocky at the time like he was kind of a weirdo for doing that shit, for rapping like with like Houston and some Memphis influence, you know? It's interesting now because like no one gives a fuck at all now, but at the time I remember that being a part of it. Yeah,
the context changed,
it.
right? I think initially hip hop had regional sounds for a myriad of reasons. One being the passing down of gear throughout the generations, right? So in certain corners of the US, certain genres popped off more than others. So in Detroit, you had the techno scene. In, you know, in Florida, you had Miami bass type shit and everything that preceded that. In New York, you had more funk and soul. And so a lot of the gear that came from like disco and stuff would get passed down to their children, and people who were making techno or whatever, their gear would pass down to their children, etc. And then once hip hop started to enter the zeitgeist, you know, people wanted to participate, but their window was through like whatever gear they had that they could access at the time. And so this is why when you listen to certain music from certain regions, then you can hear familiar sounds. Oftentimes it'd be the same stock sounds on a particular type of keyboard that was popular in that region. And that became an integral part to the sound that separated the regions for a while. And I think it definitely, the gear had played a part in developing those sounds. And so when we entered the internet age, you become exposed to all kinds of shit. And we move a little bit further away from hardware gear and more towards software, towards FL and Ableton, where everyone has the same access for the most part to the same things, both in terms of inspiration, the music they listen to, but also in terms of access to drum kits and samples, etc. So I think for a while early on, Rocky would even say that he comes from the internet when people would ask him, where's he from? He took pride in being from Harlem, and he's so clearly from Harlem in his flamboyancy, his obsession with fashion and certain mannerisms. But I think what he was trying to say is that it wasn't just like Harlem that raised him or like fine-tuned his taste. He was very much someone who was on the internet taking in a lot of influences. And I think a lot of people in the past 15 years have been. So
Right.
certain sounds started to emerge. They became prominent cross regions, right? It's become less and less of a regional thing. I think that's where a lot of it comes from. And I think initially people were like, yo, why is he cosplaying a Memphis rapper or a Houston rapper? And it's like, he's paying homage. He's taking those things that he likes about them and bringing them into the fold in a new way. A lot of music has been changed, that's been coming out has been geared in this kind of way. I mean, you have some of the most successful Memphis revivalists be white kids from Canada. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
there's no better sign that like the fact that Memphis music has evolved into a bunch of different genres across the world. The fact that like that drift funk or house funk or whatever you want to call it has become such a popular thing in places like Russia, right? Where that's like they really fuck with that shit. It's shows that sounds are less regional now because our access to the music making tools has changed in a real way, and our access to the consumption of media has changed in a real way. And anyway, sorry for
Yeah.
rambling, but I
No,
do
no,
think
no.
that's a reflection of that.
No, you got it. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think what's interesting now is I think that I like this version of things. Not to say that because obviously it's like, like I would have loved to like been in Houston when like Swisher House was like around, or SUC was around. It would have been really sick. However, I do think like this is the fastest we're going to see like evolution of music in the like because of the way things are and the way like information is spread now, sound spread now. At least like I'm hoping that it's like this thing that like brings on like an unbridled creativity. And I know that there's like an essence of like homogenization that kind of comes with things like TikTok and like a sound being created, like,
For
okay,
sure.
cool. Like we're going to do like, I know how to do this thing now. So I can do this thing now very easily, like you see that with a lot of like drift funk and stuff like that. The idea has been kind of not saying that it's not good or not valid. A lot of that music I still fuck with, but I think a lot of people jump onto that because it's like easy to make from a theoretical standpoint. And so it's going to become homogenized to some extent, but I always think that the creative shit will shine through everything. And like, that's what I'm excited about with like just the internet in general, seeing like where like hip hop is going to be in like 15 years, because if you were to play now, like if you were to play something like fucking like Gunna to like someone from like 92, they would like say that's not even rap music anymore.
Yeah.
It's so different. It's so incredibly different. I fuck with it, but it's like so different than, than whatever was people were on then. And so I'm interested to see like what direction things go. And I think that it's all going to be the internet that's going to like push that forward.
For sure. And I think, of course, you're right. There's going to always be a level of homogenization. Certain sounds will emerge as more popular than others, and you will see more people try to replicate that or tap into that because they will perceive it as like the zeitgeist. This is the thing people are fucking with. But ultimately, you'll always have your subgenres, your shoot-offs, etc. For instance, I'm not a huge fan of lo-fi hip-hop. I enjoy it as background music, but I understand that it's kind of its own thing that is like an offshoot of jazz rap that really works for certain kind of audience. Then the Memphis revivalist stuff has its own market, especially in the era of TikTok and toxic masculinity, with the likes of Andrew Tate and all these alpha and sigma male grind set posts. A lot of that music, the heavier, harder, scarier music has been appropriated by people like that as the OSTs to their ideologies, right? That's going to continue to happen. I'm curious to see how things will evolve, but I do think lots of people are going to be cynical about how the direction hip hop's taking. But I feel like you can only really get cynical if you look to whatever is popular and draw crazy conclusions based off of that. That is what it is. But there's always lots of great fucking music. So for instance, I as a hip hop listener have no shortage of music that I enjoy. I love anything that, you know, Danny Brown's been putting out, Peggy's been putting out, Billy Woods and Elucid have been putting out. I don't feel like, oh man, there's just not enough good music that I like. There's always plenty, you know, there's always plenty of good music to tap into. It's just about maybe broadening your horizons and seeing what it is that you want to enjoy and gravitate towards. And the shit that you don't gravitate towards, I just say, like, don't waste your breath in like trying to rationalize it or fight against it. Your time is better spent enjoying things you like
For sure.
than butting heads on Twitter over stuff that is not your cup of tea.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like there's better things to do. I mean, obviously, there's a type of person that just like enjoys that discussion. I am not one of those people. I'm not personally. That doesn't give me joy because everything's like so subjective to the point where it's just like I see people like arguing like who's better, Danny Brown or Playboy Cardi, and it's like they're so completely different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, how do you compare these two things? But people will do it, you know, and I think that it's better to just, I don't know, just, I know this seems like just normal advice, but just like to focus on things that you enjoy. Like there is like there seemed to be this time period where there was this like narrative of like a void to be filled in rap music. You know, it was like this whole idea of like hip hop is dead and I'm going to save it. You know, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Dude, like there's some of the best fucking rap music coming out right now ever. You know, like, and it's so much stuff. It's almost overwhelming how much dope shit is coming out because it's like you can't keep up with everything. People are talented. And it is apparent on the internet. But I think that it's easier for someone to just kind of who doesn't want to do the legwork of just kind of looking around, doing a little Google search, maybe popping on a Twitter thread or a forum or something, or watching some reviews. You know, I think it's easier just to be like, man, it ain't like it used to be, and then just listen to the same fucking Marshall Mathers LP 20,000 times. You know what I mean? Like, it's growing, and it's like there's a blueprint that was created by good rappers, and now people are like, okay, cool, let's make a new one based off of that. We're all just better at writing now because we've had time to sit on it. You know what I mean? Like it's always going to be evolving, and it's always going to be, if you want something that's dumb, quick, and fun, it's there. And I promise it's probably good. If you want something that's like super heady, it's there. And it's probably better than you thought it would be. It's interesting how we have everything and everyone's just kind of like, man, music sucks nowadays. We have literally more music, more good music than we've ever had ever at our fingertips through YouTube. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
These days, because there's so much more in general, so much more music, so many more people are able to also tap in and create music. I think there's an argument to be made. It becomes a little bit more challenging to parse through the music and find what you like, but it's not impossible. And I think it's worthwhile if you like music to broaden your horizons and listen to a bunch of different shit, because you don't even know what you might like until you hear it. So.
Yeah, good advice. Sound advice. I have another fact here though.
No, I've got facts. I still haven't done my second fact.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. We got all caught up on the Dungeon Family. You're right. What's your second fact?
My fault. Well, okay. Did you know that Nas's first advance when signing with Columbia Records was $17,000?
Wow.
17 grand, bro.
Wow. And that was back when people made money.
Yeah. Well, this is back when there weren't really crazy deals in hip hop for a long time.
Just 17K though.
17K.
That's like not even a car, bro. That's like a shitty car. Not a shitty car, but you know
more
what I mean.
than that 2 months ago when Second City Prince went under. I personally lost more than that overnight. That's crazy to think that Nas, like a generational talent, right, who wrote Illmatic as a teenager, signed 17K. And it was very customary at the time, from my understanding. I think Biggie's first deal was 25 grand, something like that. I think Tribe's first deal was also somewhere in like that ballpark as well. It's crazy to think that artists really were not getting paid that well back then. it's not that like things have really shifted around, but hip hop artists, there was just less money in hip hop, period, for a long time.
Facts.
And there was also less education on some of the exploitation. I feel like there's still a lot of ignorance, but there's more opinions on it now. It's been more of a discussion, like the 360 deal and all these things. Like there's
Yeah.
some stuff that people are more familiar with, and also people like Jay and 50 popularized the idea of being business savvy as a rap artist navigating the industry. So I think a lot of people started like tuning in to like, oh, okay, like how the sausage is made more. And so maybe that's what's transformed things. But nowadays you'll have a TikTok song blow up on TikTok and a label will sign you for multiple millions of dollars overnight just off of like 2 TikTok songs blowing the fuck up. It's crazy to think that just like all you need is 1 or 2 really popular songs and you could get signed $3 to $10 million,
Yeah.
you know, overnight, compared to like Nas 17 grand or Biggie 25 grand.
Yeah, that's insane. The thought process on that is crazy. I mean, I know that like norms have shifted and that, like you were saying, that he was probably not super business savvy because he was younger, and that like most people in hip hop weren't business savvy at the time. You know what I mean? It was a new thing. But it's crazy to think that it was only 17K. I mean, I'm sure that you
I
know.
also can't blame him. It probably wasn't even just a business savvy thing. It's probably like what everyone was going through around the time. This is
For
probably
sure.
what he was advised on. And again, there wasn't very much money in hip hop until a certain point. You know, like post Chronic is when things started to transform and people started seeing like potential of like, okay, making money off of this thing. But still, it wasn't like an overnight thing where suddenly everyone was getting paid good. You know, these labels wanted a return on their investments, and they were still not very confident in investing in rap music, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, crazy though. Insane. I mean, especially with how influential that album was. You know, it's crazy to think it was that low. But you know, how times have changed.
How times have changed. Well, that was my second fact of the week. What is your third fact, my friend?
Okay, this is a good one. I'll just read it out really quick. Did you know Ja Rule was once quoted as wanting to kill a transformer in real life when in an interview promoting his second album, Rule 336? He said, "I read the comics growing up and I always wanted to strangle Optimus Prime. Cars should be cars and robots should be robots, but that's just my opinion." What's your thoughts on this?
I think it's brave, honestly.
Yeah, I'm really glad that he spoke up because I've also felt the exact same way. Like, I don't want my car being anything but a car, you know?
Well,
You
what was
can
the
call
response
me-
like?
Oh, he got a lot of backlash from the Transformers community. I mean, but at the time, this was before the Transformers movies came out, so it wasn't like as big of a deal. You know, it was kind of a
Yeah.
niche thing to be really, really into. But they had some animated series. They had a bunch of comics. The toys were super duper successful. There was a few cease and desists thrown his way, but nothing ever came of it. And he'd never shut his mouth about it because, like, you know, he said, and I quote, "I will never stop talking about this." He said that in an article.
Yeah,
With
when
the
he was talking about
source.
having 100 guns, 100 clips, he was ready to go to war with the Transformers.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't even fuck with the Decepticons, and they wanted to kill the Transformers, but he was also kind of weirded out by whatever they had going on.
Yeah, because they were too similar. He couldn't differentiate them. It was like a speciesist
Yeah.
angle that he was taking.
Some say that he was a bit problematic in his take, but I disagree. I think that he just stood on business.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Bill. It's a real good fact.
Yeah, man. Just for clarification, I did just make that up. That's for the TikToks.
I hope everyone tunes it out after the fact and goes and talks about it online. Whoa, no way.
I want to do a thing where when I'm underprepared and I don't have a third hip hop fact, or if I have a lame third hip hop fact, I want to just make something up and just kind of keep people guessing on, am I lying or am I truthing? You know, whatever your fact is will not be as good as mine. I'm sorry, dude.
No, it's not. It's making me wonder whether I should invent one too. Did you know that when Big Pun passed away, rest in peace, his collaborator and best friend, Fat Joe, was contacted by Jennifer Lopez first?
That's crazy.
Out of anyone. At least allegedly. That's what he says on Hold You Down with Jennifer Lopez. He said, when Pun died, you was the first to call me. I never told you, but you was there for me.
Damn.
It's crazy to think, you know, and you know, like they were collaborators. Big Pun is someone that Fat Joe also used to call Twinzito. You know, this is a very important person in his life who passed away. So for Jennifer Lopez to have been the first person to call Fat Joe to check in on him, again, allegedly, is cool. And it's probably random to the average audience member, I would imagine.
Oh, I mean, it makes sense from the perspective of they were like frequent collaborators and probably friends, but like,
And from
I don't
the
know.
Bronx.
I couldn't imagine, well, first of all, I couldn't imagine J-Lo calling me at all, but the idea of like one of my loved ones dying and then the first person to console me is J-Lo, that's pretty big.
That is pretty cool. Yeah, it's just, again, to those who are in the know, will have probably either known this already or be hearing this and be like, oh, that makes sense. For a lot of people, Jennifer Lopez exists in one universe and Fat Joe kind of exists in a slightly adjacent one. But here we are, man. R.I.P. Pun.
Yeah,
almost said R.I.P. J-Lo.
Yeah, R.I.P. J-Lo. She was taken from us too soon.
Wait, isn't she with, what was this, Batman dude?
She's with Batman.
Who's the Batman actor?
Ben Affleck?
Ben Affleck. Is she still with him?
I don't know. I hope so.
I must know. Yeah, they're together.
Good for them.
Good for them, man.
Yeah. That means that Fat Joe is only one layer of separation from Ben Affleck, which doesn't really matter at all and isn't even that super cool of a fact. But hey,
this fact sucked probably comparatively to like the Decepticon.
Yeah. Sorry, dude. I mean, I kind of came with the heater. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh man, you know what? Maybe one of these days I should too. It's just that, you know, I have a lot of facts on deck, but I do think I need to refresh my list because I've been sharing some of these with you, so I'm starting to run a little drier than I thought I would.
Don't blame it on me.
I'm not.
You're blaming it. I can feel it.
It's
I can
not
see your
all
side
your
eye right
fault.
now.
It's not.
Dude. Oh, fuck this shit, bro. I'm never taking a fact from you ever again.
Come on, man. What?
Come on. Just one?
You know you'd want to grab more facts from me.
You're right. You do have an impressive stack of facts.
How about this? That fact sucks so bad, we shouldn't even make a short about it. Let me give you another one.
I didn't think it was
to
that
make
bad.
up for it. Okay?
It's just coming off the heels of mine. It was rough.
Yeah, exactly. Did you know that Kanye and Eminem had a song in 1999 called Stir Crazy? Kanye produced the beat, and then D-Dot from Bad Boy got Eminem on it.
That's crazy. I had no idea about that.
Also, side fact, Kanye produced D12's sophomore and final album title track, D12 World.
Damn, I didn't know that either. And that's some shit. That is
Ain't
crazy.
that some shit?
I mean, Ye's been cooking for a very long time. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
So, wait, is that post him working with Jay?
In 1999?
Yeah, was it 99?
Probably post first working with Jay, or maybe before. But again, the way that this was set up, it's kind of hard to count it as like a Kanye and Eminem joint because it was arranged by a third party, a Bad Boy dude who took the beat from Kanye and was like, oh, it'd be crazy to get Eminem on this beat and all that. So, but as far as like D12 World, which I don't remember if Eminem was actually on the D12 World title track. I imagine he probably must have been, but
It's been a long time.
That beat's kind of crazy. I don't know if you remember it at all, but to think that the sophomore track on D12's second album and last album, their final album, as far as I know, was produced by Kanye. It's just random because
Very
you
random.
wouldn't put D12 and Kanye in the same world.
No, I wouldn't.
D12
That's crazy. I mean, it kind of makes sense, just in a sense that like Ye was like on the verge of working with every fucking body, but
True.
but this was kind of like 99. I feel like was like a little before then too, because it feels like he was like really starting to pop off in like 02, 03 when he was like
Yeah.
really like producing for a lot of people.
Well, just to be clear, D12 World came out in 2004.
Oh, okay, never mind.
That's yeah. So this
That
is
makes
like
sense.
way after working with Jay, but the Stir Crazy joint in '99 for sure. Especially because Eminem was. This is also pre-Marshall Mathers LP. That's the other crazy part of it, right? But Eminem was already kind of popping. I don't remember if Slim Shady LP had already come out by the time Stir Crazy was put out or not. But M was already, for those not in the know, like towards the late '90s, Eminem was becoming like the talk of the town, as it were. He's someone who performed pretty well at Scribble Jam and all that, although he didn't win. But beyond that, the Slim Shady EP was beloved by the streets. It was a real like, oh shit, slide me that shit. In fact, here's like a fun side fact. The way that many people became acquainted with Aesop Rock is connected to the Slim Shady EP. For instance, Slug of Atmosphere first heard of Aesop Rock from a mixtape of Slim Shady EP that he copped that had the Slim Shady EP, and at the end of it, it had music for Earthworms attached to it. It's not clear. I don't know. I would love to find out whether this was Aesop Rock's doing or some third party that did that, but that's how Aesop's name made its waves early on as well, in the late 90s.
Yeah, that shit's crazy. Every time I think about that, I mean, it makes sense. It's weird though because of how different the music was from what Eminem was doing, especially at that time. Well, I mean, I guess all the time, but that was very different ethos. I feel like going into making music.
But there was both. They were both underground and like, we were talking about Dungeon Family being characters. This felt like two very different characters.
For sure.
Yeah, so but it is interesting. And also music for Earthworms was recorded along with Float, I think, were recorded like at a music room in college.
Crazy.
Top Rock would like go to record this shit.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's super nuts. I mean, it makes sense, but it's like I don't know. A lot of those, like a lot of people look at those albums as like super duper legendary. I mean, I do, and it's crazy to think it's like comes from such like humble beginnings of just like a college student just trying to make ends meet in terms of making, getting the record done and just recording in like a probably not the best environment in the music room. Yeah, I've done that type of shit before.
Yeah. So there we have it, man. Hip hop. I love hip. I could keep going.
Hip-hop.
I could.
Hip
I could. I still have so many facts and things I want to dig into. I'm glad that this time around we did the reverse because it opened up some opportunities to have conversations about certain hip hop stuff.
For sure.
What I would like to do this month is two things. I guess this is something that we should try to set out to do. But I would like to have at least one episode where we go over a little bit of hip hop history. Maybe starting from the beginning, the 70s.
Oh, that'd be sick.
And just, because I feel like it would be really fun for me because, I love that shit. But also I think it would be potentially informative for the listeners. There's a lot, I feel like, of inspiration to glean from the early humble beginnings of hip hop and certain thinking that can be applied to this day for those who want to pursue art of any kind. And the other thing I want to do is have a guest on You know who I want to get on this month. We just need to test out our capabilities of having 3 people
Yeah.
appear on screen at once. Just make sure everything works before we invite them over.
Yeah, I'm not asking my mom. Okay.
It's okay. She already said yes.
Fuck, man. God damn it, dude.
Yeah. Sorry.
I told you that I didn't want you in the same room as her, even if it's Discord.
Yeah.
We talked about this, dude. We talked about this for like
If the
hours.
3-person thing doesn't work, it's just gonna have to be me and her. But you get it.
I just okay.
Hey, why don't we talk about the Patreon? We have
The
a special thing going on this week, Bill, don't we?
We have a special thing going on this week on the Patreon. That's right, Rav. We're answering Q&As from the Patreon, and we're going to be doing that behind the what, Rav?
Paywall.
The paywall. Give us money. No, for real. But
No,
yeah, we're gonna
give us
be
money.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that I'm imploring you to give us money. As Rav flexed earlier, we lost an incredible amount of money from SCP, so this is our one time to beg. So
Between Bill and I, we lost more than Biggie's and Nas's first deals combined.
Yeah, so that's real fun. That's real fun. Anyway, financial destitutes aside, you should sign up for the Patreon because we're doing an extra episode a week, and we're also going to be adding some little special goodies here and there. So for every episode you see here, we get another one, a free one here, and then another one behind the paywall. So that's an extra 4 episodes a month, along with some like interactive stuff, such as the question and answer and the Q&A even. I don't know. Sorry, my brain just shut
the
off.
Q&A, the questions, we let our patrons ask the questions this month, and we'll probably make it a semi-regular thing where we do this a few times a year.
Yeah.
But you can only really participate if you're a patron.
Yeah. And if you're not, we won't care about what you have to say. And we hope you die. Okay, no, sorry. I don't know where I was going with that.
Bill was channeling his inner, deepest, darkest thoughts there, but they were real for him, okay?
Yeah,
Chat,
you're right.
chat.
You're right. We do read your comments, though.
Yes.
You know why? Well, hold on. I want to say something. I'm glad that we had a real hip hop ass episode because I saw a comment the other day. It was like, I fucking love the part where you guys talk about hip hop shit. And now I know that I at least made one person's day by being a part of this. So there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this shit. I try to usually condense things and be a little bit reductionist in my approach in telling certain events or covering certain things because you know me, I'm scared of accidentally going down a rabbit hole of talking about one thing for like 2 hours straight. So why don't you make a little promise to our viewers that you will upload something extra this week? And why don't you come up with it now? Like what it could be something from like 2007 or 2008. Is there anything
that's
you
a
think
good. We talked about this a little bit. Okay, let's talk about it. So I was thinking that I could upload some really, really old music of mine, but not just any old music, stuff that I made back in my formative years of rapping and producing, and perhaps even some instrumentals off of my Xbox, because if y'all come to my streams at all, y'all know that I used to make beats on an Xbox on MTV Music Generator 3, and I have some bangers and some not so bangers on there. And so I've been wanting to compile some of those and some of the older joints around that time, maybe a year or two after that, of me rapping, like my first rap shit. And so I'll post all that in there. So yeah, that's my promise to you guys is within the week, I'll upload some really, really old and really, really rare Kill Bill music.
some
How about
mid
that?
2000s Kill Bill?
Yeah, I was a jit. I was a tiny little baby when I made this stuff. Okay, so that's my promise. So I hope that you guys fuck with it because I certainly don't.
Well, as always, thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate you. Mitch, hit him with that fun fact.
Did you know? The
following is a preview of this week's Patreon exclusive episode. Available now over on the Void FM podcast Patreon.
I'm about ready.
Today we're doing the Q&A. All right, hit us with those questions,
Okay.
good sir.
First question, what are y'all's favorite non-hip-hop songs at the moment?
First off, there were 3 Def Jam games. Thank you very much.
Cake or pie?
Pie.
Bye.
I got a new thing that I'm into as of last night is videos of people negotiating the prices of gyms.